Hi, everyone. Welcome to the festive calendar of 2025. Today, today it's Sunday, the 14th of December, and I'm happy to give you this little tidbit about the four pillars that every digital leader needs to know. From chaos to clarity. My name is Pia Langenkrantz. I come from Cloud 476. It's Microsoft 365 and 111 more things. And today we're going to talk about documents, communication and connecting, meeting and meeting notes, tasks, and to-do lists. So let's get into it. So let me start with who are you? What is this session for? So you are managers. That's what we're looking at from here. It's a project manager, a department manager, a process manager, someone who is leading a team to do something in the digital workspace. And we're going to be talking about the basic modern work for your work group. So it's not going to require a lot of settings or a lot of licenses or something extra. The things we're going to talk about today is going to be very normal stuff that most people who have Microsoft 365 have these things available to you. So the only services that you need for this setting is Teams. For documents in Teams, the documents are really in SharePoint. They're not in Teams. It's a window to SharePoint. So, but you don't have to worry about that. That will happen automatically. And Teams is, very central in this collaboration and communication. So that's what we're going to be using for a lot. And also OneNote. For those of you who have Copilot, there could be a very clever idea to use Loop as well. But if you don't have Copilot and you don't have Loop, then don't worry about it. It will, this will still work. And Planner. Those are the services that you need, because most of the times when I meet my customers, they think Microsoft 365, it's so big, it's so huge. Like, how can I ever get started? And that's just the thing, right? Like, you don't have to get started with everything. You don't even have to get started with everything in one service. We're looking at like an intro level here for you and for your team to get started, and it will give you such a big payback if you actually go through and use this for these four pillars. But I hear this all the time. This will never work because of people, right? We've always worked like this. So we have tried, and it created chaos because now I have 15,000 teams that I have to go into, and email works. It's been working for years. Why are we trying to change something that works? And I'm too old to change. That's a fun one, right? That's a real fun one. Um, and then we have the young people, the annoying young people. They say like, yuck, I don't want to use Microsoft. I want to use Google, or just DM me on Insta. So we have that too young, too old, that we can't do. And then also, but what everyone is saying all the time is that if everyone else change, not me, but if everyone else in here can change, or outside this room, if they change, then everything will be working fine. And the poor manager, there, oh, there you go. Oh, poor guy. Oh, really, it's just too hard. But this is why we have managers, right? So this is what we have to work with. So this will work because of people like you. You're sitting listening to this because you are going to bring clarity to your people. You're going to be, I run this show. I decide of these things, and I'm going to take control of this structure. And you're going to lead with why, and you're going to have the goals and the how and the support. And you think like, oh, that's a lot of work. Well, yeah, but I'm sorry to say, but this is your job to do that. But I'm going to help you so you can do that really easily. And also, the number one thing, make time to learn. You first. Because this level of technology is exactly what you need to know. And you're going to need to know these basics for the rest of your life. And I'm not saying that for the rest of your business life. That's for the rest of your life, because once you are out of business, you're going to have, all of the hospital care and, all of your service is going to be digital. So you need to have a baseline of basic tech skills so you can, navigate the world, basically. So, and what you need people, obviously, and you need a 365 license. It doesn't really matter which type, if it's an E1, F1, E3, E5. Most of the times, like, as long as you have a Microsoft Teams, and as long as you have it connected with the shared documents and you have Planner and whatnot, you're going to be fine. And you don't have to have, Word, Excel, PowerPoint downloaded on your devices so you can work with that. Those the things. And you as the manager of a work team don't need more stuff than this, for real. So now imagine your team in an actual office, okay? You have a whole floor for just your team. You decide who gets to get off at your floor. No weirdos, no lurkers, no, randos coming in. And everyone in your team, you're working here on this floor. You have a couple of different rooms, but it's open, right? We can talk to each other. We have bookcases with all the forms and the books and the reports and customer information, everything that you need. It's neat. And if someone makes a mess, either you clean it up yourself, because a lot of times that's what managers do, right? We clean up after other people. Or you just tell someone else, it's like, no, that's wrong, you have to do this. Or, someone else will clean it up. But it's your responsibility that it is neat. Like if this floor is messy, with documents everywhere flying around, well, that's your responsibility. So you make sure, and you're the one who says, where goes what. And what goes where, sorry. You also have this conference room with the whiteboard where you brainstorm and you solve problems and you gather to talk and make all of the magic happens. You have the whiteboard with stuff, and you have post-its for your tasks, which are, shuffled around, and maybe you have, your customers where that is, or your product where that is. You also have a small kitchen where you meet, unofficially for a quick snack or a much needed coffee. This is also like when the social stuff works. It's so important because we do need to know each other. A team that works is a team that know each other, that we can talk to each other, because when in a crisis, we need to be able to remove all of the fluff and be like, you do this, we're going to run that, we're going to do this. And you can't do that if you don't know each other, because then we're like, wow, she is so bossy, I don't like her at all. And you create drama. But if we know each other, and also we want to feel safe in our working environment. So we want to know that, okay, if I share this with you, you're going to do something with it, right? So we need to make sure that the chit chat in the kitchen is actually wholesome. And that's also you as the manager, that's your problem, because if you're thinking if it was an actual office and you would go into the kitchen or the coffee area and nobody talked to each other, nobody looked each other in the eye, no one would share something, you'll be like, is this a good group? Are we doing good? And then imagine the other one. You go into the coffee, people are going for a quick coffee and be like, yes, this is my new puppy, look at it, it's so cute. Or somebody like, I hate the parking with outside here, it's just so annoying, something. And you can share and be make connections. You also have your own room. You're out walking in these other rooms, but you have, for some of the sensitive stuff, you want to close the door behind you. You have your own room, and anyone who comes into that room can't see any of these sensitive documents or anywhere because you have it locked away or, tucked away somewhere, and people are not free to just go into your room. But, that's for some of the work. Most of the work, you're out on the floor, giving people high five, giving them feedback, talking to them. And in this big room here, we have the meetings, right? We have our reoccurring meetings, and we keep the stuff up because we're going to talk about this tomorrow again or next week again. And when you have a new person that comes in to your department, you will show them around. That's your job. You'll show them around and say, this is where it is. This is how the bookcase is. And if you find some document lying around over here, you should put it there. And this is the room. And these are the, like how we work with our customers. And this is how we work with our tasks. So you make sure that the right people are on your floor and they know what to do, right? So, and it works, right? Because there are rules. We're safe. We know each other, and it's safe. We know how to do this. It's awesome. And then why doesn't this work digitally? Because it is managers that is running the show, not IT. IT is like the janitors. You will be on that floor and be like, the lights are flickering. Is this like really annoying? I can't see, and there's a wet spot on the floor or something with the plumbing. It's disturbing our work. Or it will be like, wow, if we could get a bigger whiteboard in this room, that would help us a lot. Can you make that happen? That is what IT do. And all of the other staff, stab things around. That's what they're like janitors. Imagine if the janitor would come in and be like, hey, Paul, you should do your documents this way. And be like, who are you again? Like, no, this is a customer document. That's not what we're going to do. So this is why it doesn't work today digitally, because people think that it's an IT thing. And IT is like, oh, I can't run everyone's work groups. So, but that's what we're going to fix, right? So, this is the screenshot you need, right? I'm sorry, I'm a little bit in the way here. But translating this into ones and twos, like you're the manager, you're the team owner, and you invite your staff as team members. Your stakeholders, they're not allowed on the floor. You will go to your managers and report. So you will do that in another team, or you will, go to your customers outside of your floor and talk to them about things. So you don't have the lurkers in your team. They're outside of team. Just like we in a physical office, we will take the papers and we will go outside. We will do that also digitally. Yes, sure, there is so many ways that you can share documents from, and you can put it into like have a maybe in your you put a folder that you have shared externally where you put all of your stuff. So, but you get the point, right? You don't put them in the team. You don't put them on the floor. You just hand them paper sometimes. And you decide what rooms, channels, they're on the floor, and you decide what order the bookcases and the document structure should be in, and you decide when you meet with the channel meetings. Those are the reoccurring meetings, and that could be, the daily stand-up or the weekly meeting, or you have a monthly meeting. Put them into channel meetings because then everyone will be automatically included. And also, you decide how you're supposed to document your meetings. So put them in OneNote. And you make sure, this is not like you decide, you make sure that the tasks are ordered and structured. And you own the definition of done. That means, and you owning that, oh, we'll get back to that. I'm not going to talk forever, but I have more slides. So you're building the floor because you're the team manager. This is, no nerd required to do this. So, thinking of like, okay, me, I'm the manager of Department Q. Awesome show on Netflix, by the way. So I would start with putting the general channel. I still name it the general channel. You can name it whatever you want. And the one rule that I have, that what you put in the general channel is what is always relevant for everyone. So this is like our goals, our tasks. If we have a new hire, or we celebrate something together, or we have new instructions for how to, manage or handle our receipts or something, that goes into the general channel. And then for the other rooms, it's like, if someone in my department here, we have both product development because we're running one product. So we do sales and marketing and product development for that. So not everything in sales and marketing is interesting for the product people and vice versa, but it's no secrets. It's just that we don't want to have like the buzz where everything happens all the time. So we have different rooms where we talk about these things. And then for my closed room, the manager's room, that's the steering. This is where I have, budgets or sensitive issues, or and it doesn't even have to be like, everyone maybe will go to the bad place and thinking about, oh, this is so bad, but also when it comes to recruitment and feedback and things like that. So like that, I have that in my own room. And then I put up a channel called water cooler, because I do want to see the cute puppy images, and I want to see if someone is just like, oh, look at my cool garden, or I read this online. Is anyone else interested? And we have our internal jokes, and there needs to be a place for that. So, and now we come to the pillar of documents. Fun part starts. You tell everyone that this is the place for our working documents. This is where everything goes. Not in OneDrive, not in Google Drive, not in Box, not in, whatever. It goes here. And then it's like, oh, well, but boss, what about our specs? They should go into the archive, right? And so it's like, yeah, okay, there are exceptions. But all of our working documents are here. But yes, there are exceptions. And we're going to add them in a About tab. And this is actually like where the real magic happens. And this is where we just document and be clear about our house rules. How do we work here? So my way of working is that I always put it in a tab in the general, and I rename it from notes to about. And I just put in, just these four things: the purpose, the target group, the ways of working, and also who is the owner. So first to do it about the team, and then below that I will add a section for every channel, and then what is different from the top, I will put that in there. So maybe for the we will say the product development channel, I would say like, okay, these are for those working with product development. It will be the architects, testers, and we will have different roles for them. And I will say like, okay, this is, we have a structured channel, we have threaded, in Teams, we can have threaded now. That's, threads. It's a little bit confusing sometimes, but it has different needs. So then I would, if the owner also says like, okay, well, I have a product developer lead, and that will be the owner for that channel. So, but for the general channel, then is everyone should always be in tune with what's happening there when they're working. So this is a very clear way to handle this, and this is also how you show around new people. When the new person come into the team, you will walk through this, the About tab, and be like, okay, this is what we're doing in this team. These are the exceptions. The specs will go into the company archive, and that's another place, and all of these things. So you will go through that, and you will keep it tight. Don't write a novel because you want people to be able to read this, and The ones who are supposed to read this are those who are supposed to be working in the team. So you don't have to, over explain it or overwork it, but it's just like, this is, our house rules or our floor rules, maybe we should say. So when it comes to communicate and connect, right? So we need to have house rules because people, we don't have time for broken records or fragmented messages. So we speak clearly and in the same place together. That's what we do. So no internal email, no private chats. Everything is in here. When we have our business hat on, when I have a role to play here, when I'm the architect or the assistant or the manager, everything like what I communicate is out here, so that information is reachable by everyone. We're going to tag people in roles, and we're going to set notifications, because now when we work transparent, there will be so much more information available to us than what we need to read. So we need to direct, just as we set a 2 in our emails. We're now going to be, tagging people. We never have to use FYI. We never have to have the CC. That's just, carbon copy, which is, a story in itself. But we don't have to do that anymore because everyone in the team is on CC. So we don't have to do that. And emojis, right? People will be like, oh God, I'm an adult, I don't use emojis. Well, you know what? We decide what emojis mean, and the thumbs up, that's the most important one. Like, I've read this. This information has reached me. That's what that means. And the heart. This is so much fun. I always, with all of my customers, it doesn't matter what they are. I always talk a lot about the heart, but the heart is nothing inappropriate. It's, sometimes we'll be like, oh yeah, we have a couple of extra sandwiches over from our sales meeting if someone wants to, someone needs to grab a snack, and they'll be like, oh God, I missed breakfast this morning. Thank you so much. I'm dying of starvation. No, that's a heart thing. Or someone like, I'm late, I've been stuck in traffic. Can someone, start my meeting with the customer? And it's like, yeah, sure, I got you back. You'd be like, that's a heart thing. So, but coming out, it's like, oh, we have a new report that is coming out. It's like, so, put that in. So, emojis, we decide what that means, not everyone else. And this is how we can be using emojis for so many things. We can use them for, a quick vote. It'd be like, who wants, let's go out for a common lunch, a like for sushi, heart for Italian, and the surprised one for Indian. So you can use it for a lot. It's very, very good. Yes. So meeting and meeting notes. So this is Teams and OneNote. Like, I really love OneNote. I'm a huge OneNote fan, and Loop has come into my life. Previously, I wasn't talking so much about Loop because it wasn't really into like a whole thing. You couldn't really see where it went and who owned it and things like that. But now it's shaping up, and Copilot are using Loop for things. So when you have meetings and you turn on the facilities manager and you have Copilot, then the documentation will go into Loop, and it will also use Planner, which we will talk about in a second. But the house rule should be that everyone participates in meetings, right? We listen and we take notes and we ask questions and we respond. And when we can't join the meeting, we watch the recording within tops 2 days. If we have a daily meeting and we've been gone, the first or the second day back from vacation, we need to catch up. And if we do have a Copilot, and we can talk to Copilot and be like, okay, catch me up on what's happened in the last 2 weeks. But because we don't have time to repeat ourselves, or like, oh, I wasn't there, so you can't hold me accountable for the things that I did wrong since we got new things. It's like, no, we do not repeat ourselves. We don't have to, because we record it, we document it, and we have tools where you can bring it up again. And if you do have Copilot, you should just share prompts together with each other. Be like, okay, how these are good prompts for catching up, or how to, okay, this was, customer calls, if you would record them, or someone working in product development, be like, okay, who has questions about functionality 7, and you can go in and prompt and talk to the meetings with Copilot to get those things out of there. So that's a good thing. And everyone use OneNote for the shared meeting notes, or Loop, and you as the manager has to pick which one, or if there are things that you use both of them, because it's not a 100% use case that you can have for both of them. OneNote works for a lot of things. So, I'm not ready to kick OneNote out just yet. But we use it all for our shared meeting notes. And also, when I go to a meeting where I represent my department, or someone is like, okay, we want to loop in this department for this, I will also use the shared OneNote for those meeting notes. Because if I want to hand over my stuff to someone else, they'll be like, well, this is, my hat as an architect or a manager or an assistant in this team. This is where it is. Everything is here. So, and we put in the rules in the About tab. So, the tasks and to-dos, right? So, the house rule is that everything that you do, get it into Planner, and you use it every day. This is the only way it works. We're not going to use Excel. We're not going to use Post-it notes. We're not going to have it on a whiteboard in the physical room, because then you have the 2 places of documentation. You can have a screen in the whiteboard that has always the task list, or some board that you can see, that the digital one, but you gotta have the digital one. And we document in the comments in our task what is it that makes the task go forward, and what it is that hinders the task from going anywhere. Anyone can assign tasks to anyone. You can't make just like, oh, it's only the manager that can do that. It's like, well, when we're all together taking notes and someone says like, well, Mark, he should do that, then anyone who's sitting in that room, and maybe it's just like one person who's actually sitting in front of a computer, maybe other people are, out walking, who knows? And then the person sitting in the computer will be like, okay, I'll put up a task for Mark. That's easy. So, and if you get a task that you don't understand, or you think that shouldn't be there, it's like, just talk to the person who signed it to you. And at the end of the day, if there is an issue about it, then you go talk to you, the manager. Like, is this something that I should do? And also, as a team, we discuss what is the definition of done, even though the manager owns the definition of done, but we discuss, what does this mean, and what does end date mean? Because there are some things in the tech that you can change. You can have a lot of buckets, but you can only have so many labels, and you cannot change progress, or some of the other stuff in there. So you have to define, because if you're in legal, then end date might, and urgent might mean something very different when you're working with negotiations than it would be in you working in the reception because of the a leaky toilet. That means urgent means that this is what you do now, and in the other setting is, this is what we're focusing on right now. This is what is top of mind that we're working on. And there's a really cool thing, a little hack that I love to do. I create the first label in Planner, I rename it to agenda, and then anything that anyone wants to bring up on the meeting, the weekly meeting or the daily meeting, they will tag it with the agenda, because it could be like, oh yeah, I want to, like, Mark, didn't you do something awesome before? And I want to talk about this thing that I'm doing, or like, can you explain more for me about this thing? Or the manager says like, yeah, we're going to talk about these things that are stuck or whatever, because like, we don't have to talk about all our tasks all the time, every time. That's not necessary. But we do want to talk about some of them. So, and this way we don't have to, if you have something you want to bring up in the meeting, just put it into the agenda. That has never worked. Never. No. I don't know who thought that was a great idea, but and then it's like it's doubling the documentation, right? We have all the tasks, we have a history of it, we put it in the planner, and I can get it wherever I want. So this is good. And also, yes, into the About tab, that's where we document what do we mean by these things. And also, forgot to mention, we can have several planners. So thinking about my department queue is that I have one planner for the entire department, and product development has their own planner, and sales have their own planner, because then they can actually have their own labels and buckets. So because sometimes it makes sense to have more than one, and sometimes it doesn't. So, but for my department queue, that's how we work. Coming into learning, though, it's like, yes, there are things that you need to learn, and yes, you need to learn them. You need to know how to use these tools. So for the documents, you need to learn the basic. You can go to the intro level of all of these things, and you will be fine. And it's not hard. It really isn't. And in this day and age, we really don't have to be experts in anything. But most people today, we don't need help in like, how do I upload a document, or how do I start a meeting, or how do I respond. Like, we use technology all the time. We do it. So we really don't have to learn everything, but we have to go through the basic, the introduction level of these things. And it's free. Microsoft support. There we go. There. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. And you as the manager, you have to do this first, because these tools are the tools that you're going to be using. This is all you need when it comes to the digital workplace. If you want to use more, then you can do that. But these are the ones that you're going to be using, so you need to do that. So just be like, once you've done it, you share the link with your people. You can even put it into a new channel of learning, constant learning, because you have to do that. But boss, I don't know how to use these tools, and I have no time to learn. And this is what's important, right? This is the message that you as a manager says. That's fine. We take time to learn together on an intro level, and we will not do all at once. That's not possible, because we can't do everything at once, and we do not have time for that. We will break it down and take small steps together. This week and the next week, we will focus on our core tasks and move them out of our phones, Excel, and everywhere else they exist. We put that into the common planner that we have for the entire team. Sales will work on getting their planner with lead structures, because this is what sales loves to do, right? They want to be like, okay, this is the pipeline. So they know how to do this. They probably already are using some form of doing this, so they will like that. And product development, they're more document heavy, so they will focus on getting their documents in order with the structure and the folders and these things. And we will add an extra 5 minutes to our stand-up, where we learn from each other, because this is also the trick, right? Because you have some people that are more prone to do some things, and other people are more prone to do other things, and then you can just like give them a task, and then it will share, because that will also that will mean that your people will feel safe and secure, that they can actually just make real good suggestion and lead. So there will be so with product development, they might need like a lot of metadata and more stuff on the documents that others doesn't need, but that's fine. But if they get to lead where in an area with the documents where they want to, and then salespeople will do with the task things, and you will focus on the communication to make that work, then you together, everyone will share in your stand-up meetings and move on. And just focusing on the same thing and be like, okay, these are the things that we're going to do together. Like, this is our common planner, and this is how we're going to talk to each other. And here you find the recordings. It will take just a couple of months, and you will be up and running so smoothly with these 4 pillars. I promise. So I hope that this time, 34 minutes now. I can talk about this forever. But I hope that I made sense and that you're going to get something out of it. Please, let's see here. Please go and rate and review for this session, and I will be so happy to connect with you on all of the platforms where we are. LinkedIn is the best one to find me. So thank you so much, and Merry Christmas.